why your glutes aren't growing and how to fix it. I was squatting, doing every booty workout online, chasing the burn, and nothing changed. Here's what my glutes look like before: flat, boring, non-existing, and zero shape. And now here's what they look like after figuring out what truly works. My glutes are rounder, stronger, and actually growing. I will be going through the glute activation, proper recovery, mind to muscle connection, and progressive overload. And by the end, you'll know exactly what to do to finally see the growth you've been chasing and to fix your problems so that you can finally stop wasting effort and understand why your glutes haven't been responding and start training them in a way that builds real strength and real results. First point, stop squatting. I know you're probably like, Katrina, what? But hear me out. I'm not saying stop squatting altogether, because as a beginner, it's definitely one of the most basic exercises that you should learn to master, but with the right firing patterns. Here's what tends to happen as a newbie in the gym. You start off with all the right intentions. You're squatting, lunging, leg pressing, deadlift, all that good stuff. Although you will see some progress, but nowhere near where you actually want to be. Now you're wondering, how can I fix this problem? It all comes down to that mind to muscle connection. You need to retrain your brain to teach the right muscles to fire instead. And the first step to that is to stop doing the exercises that continue to stress your quads so you can actually give your glutes a chance. If your legs are the only sore part and not your glutes, you need to stop doing those exercises for the time being. The exercises that focus on the quads and should avoid are leg extensions, the leg press, and any narrow stand squat. Now you're probably thinking, well, Katrina, what's left then? There are exercises that really target the glute muscle, and yes, it will target other muscles on your legs, but the primary muscles being used are your glutes. The first and best exercise, which is my holy grail, hip thrusts. They're one of the best exercises for directly loading the glute maximus in its strongest and most effective position. What makes hip thrusts so powerful is that they place the most tension on the glutes at the very top of the movement, which is exactly where the shelf is visually built. Abductions are a great way to fire up your glutes before starting your compound exercises. They work the side of the hip, which is your minimus and medius muscle, where it gives it that round shape you want. Bulgarian split squats are also amazing to target your glutes and the other muscles in your legs. They are humbling and I dread these, but it's a great unilateral movement where it helps with stability and correcting muscle imbalance, working one leg at a time. The way you want to actually target the glutes though, and not so much of your quads, is by leaning forward a bit. So you're like this, leaning forward when doing the movement, and when coming down, you don't want to come straight down. You want to feel like you're pushing backwards. Think of it like an escalator when going down. Cable kickbacks are a great isolation exercise to target all three muscles in the glutes directly. If you kick directly straight back, you are targeting the glute maximus. But when you put your foot at a 45-degree angle and kick diagonally, you are targeting the glute minimus and medius muscle. Romanian deadlift, also known as RDLs, are a great way to target your glutes and hamstrings. With these, if you are trying to target your glutes more, you want to push or hinge your hips back as far as you can when going down. Then once you can't no more, or once you feel like you are starting to use your back, that's where you stop. You also have a slight bend in your knee. If you are tall like me, for reference, I'm 5'9", and I only go down just past my knees because that's my max range of motion for that. Anything lower, I start using my lower back, and that's not what I'm trying to target. For the shorter girls, you will most likely go a lot further down, even maybe touching the floor with it, which is okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Second point, glute activation. Glute activation is one of those things that sounds trendy, but once you actually understand it, it completely changes how your lower body workouts feel and look. A lot of people think their glutes aren't growing because they need heavier weights, when really their quads and lower back are doing all the work. Glute activation is basically teaching your body how to use your glutes on purpose before you load them, so they don't get overshadowed by stronger muscles. I always start by reminding people that if you can't squeeze your glutes standing still, it's gonna be really hard to get them firing during squats or hip thrusts. Before lifting, I'll have someone practice simple glute squeezes or hip extensions and really focus on that mind to muscle connection. You should feel the contraction in the upper and mid glute, not your hamstrings cramping or your lower back arching. When it comes to activation exercises, lighter resistant is honestly better. Bands, body weight, or very light dumbbells are perfect because the goal isn't fatigue, it's awareness. Moves like glute bridges, frog pumps, banded lateral walks, kickbacks, and clamshells work so well because they isolate the glutes without letting other muscles take over. The biggest mistake I see is rushing through these movements. Slow reps, Pauses at the top and control tension are everything. I'll cue things like tuck your pelvis and squeeze, or push through your heel and hold it so the glutes stay in charge the entire time. Another huge tip is posture. If your ribs are flared or your lower back is overarched, your glutes will check out and your lower back will jump in instead. Keeping your core braced and your pelvis slightly tucked makes a massive difference. You'll know your glutes are actually activated when you feel a warm burn, a pump, or even a slight shake during the exercise, but no pressure in your lower back or knees. Activation doesn't need to be longer either. 5 to 10 minutes before your workout is more than enough, and honestly, 1 or 2 exercises done with intention is better than 5 rushed ones. Once your glutes are activated, compound lifts like squats, lunges, deadlifts, and hip thrusts feel completely different. You'll feel stronger, more stable, and way more connected to the movement. Over time, this helps with growth, shape, and even injury prevention. Glute activation isn't about doing extra work just to feel busy. It's about setting your body up to move correctly. When your glutes actually fire the way they're supposed to, your workouts feel more controlled, your form improves, and your results start showing exactly where you want them to. Third point, mind to muscle connection. Mind to muscle connection is honestly one of those things people hear about all the time, but rarely get taught properly, and it's a huge reason why some people lift for years without ever really feeling the muscle they're trying to grow. The easiest way to explain it is that it's learning how to use the muscle on purpose instead of just moving weight from point A to point B. When I'm teaching it, I always start by slowing everything down and taking the ego out of the lift. If you're moving fast or lifting super heavy, your body will automatically recruit whatever muscles it can get to get the job done. And the target muscle kind of gets lost in the chaos. I'll usually have someone touch the muscle they're trying to work and practice flexing it before even picking up a weight, because if you can't feel it when you're standing still, it's gonna be really hard to feel it under load. From there, lighter weights and slower reps are key. Think controlled movements, pauses at the top, and really owning every inch of that exercise. I like to cue people to focus on what the muscle is doing instead of the equipment, like bringing your elbows together with your chest instead of pressing the dumbbells, or pulling your elbows down with your back instead of pulling the bar. Those internal cues make a massive difference. Another trick that works really well is doing a light activation or pre-exhaust set first, like banded flies before chest or glute bridges before squats, because it helps wake the muscle up so it actually shows up during the bigger movement. You can usually tell someone is starting to get mind to muscle connection when they can tell you exactly where they feel the exercise, when in the rep it burns the most, and when that muscle fatigues before everything else. It's not about chasing a crazy pump every single set or abandoning heavy lifting forever. It's a skill you build over time. Some days you'll lift heavy and just focus on moving weight, and other days you'll slow it down and really tune in. The biggest thing is patience and awareness. The more you practice feeling the muscle work, the better your body gets at finding it, and that's when your workouts stop feeling random and start feeling intentional, and that's where real results happen. Fourth point, overworking your glutes or legs. Overworking your glutes and legs is way more common than people like to admit, especially when glute gains are the goal and leg days feel productive. I get it. If you want your glutes to grow, it's tempting to train them every day or throw glute exercises into every single workout. But growth doesn't actually happen while you're lifting. It happens when your muscles recover. If you're constantly training your glutes and legs without giving them enough rest, you're basically breaking the muscle down over and over again without letting it rebuild. That's when progress stalls, strength drops, and your body starts compensating in ways that can lead to aches, tight hips, or even injury. Signs you might be overdoing it include glutes that always feel sore or tight, and legs that feel heavy and weak instead of strong, workouts where you can't hit the same weights or reps, and even joints or lower back starting to feel cranky. More isn't always better, especially for a muscle group as big and demanding as the glutes. For most people, training glutes and legs 2 to 3 times a week is more than enough to see results, as long as those sessions are intentional and challenging. That schedule gives your muscles the time they need to recover, adapt, and actually grow stronger between workouts. Rest days aren't lazy. They're part of the program. Recovery is when your body repairs muscle fibers, replenishes energy, and resets your nervous system so you can show up and train hard again. If you're lifting heavy, doing hip thrusts, Bulgarians, cable kickbacks, and abductions, your glutes are under a lot of stress and they need that downtime. You can still stay active on rest days with things like walking, stretching, or light mobility work, but constantly loading your legs isn't doing you any favors. Another thing people don't realize is that overtraining your glutes can actually make it harder to feel them during workouts. When a muscle is exhausted, other muscles start taking over, which defeats the whole purpose of training glutes in the first place. When you give them proper rest, you come back stronger, more connected, and able to push with better form and intensity. Progress isn't about how often you train, it's about how well you recover. If you want stronger, rounder glutes and healthier legs, consistency plus recovery will always beat doing too much. Train smart, trust the process, and let your body do what it's designed to do. Fifth point, progressive overload. Another major reason your glutes might not be growing, even if you're activating them, feeling them, and not overtraining, is that you're not progressively overloading them in a way that actually forces change. This is where a lot of people get stuck, especially if they're used to chasing the burn or doing the same high rep banded workouts week after week. Those workouts can feel intense, sweaty, and exhausting, but intensity alone doesn't equal muscle growth. Your glutes are smart. Once they adapt to a certain stimulus, they stop responding to it, no matter how hard it feels in the moment. If you've been using the same weights, the same rep ranges, and the same exercises for months, your body has already learned how to handle that stress, so has no reason to build new muscle. Progressive overload is what gives your glutes that reason. It's the gradual increase in demand over time, and it doesn't have to mean lifting insanely heavy or sacrificing form. It can be simple as adding 5 pounds to your hip thrust, getting 1 or 2 more clean reps with the same weight, slowing down your tempo so your glutes stay under tension longer, or adding a pause at the top of a movement where the glutes are fully contracted. Those small changes add up more than people realize. A lot of people avoid progressive overload because it feels uncomfortable or because they're afraid of losing that perfect mind to muscle connection. But the truth is, when your form and activation are dialed in, adding challenge actually makes that connection stronger. Another issue is staying in the same safe rep ranges forever. While higher reps have their place, your glutes also need heavier, more demanding sets to grow. If every workout looks like the same, feels the same, and uses the same weights, your results will look the same too. Progressive overload is also about tracking your progress instead of guessing. When you start paying attention to what you're lifting and intentionally trying to prove it every time, your training becomes purposeful instead of repetitive. Once you've learned how to activate your glutes, connect with them, stop squatting just to squat, and give them proper recovery, this is often the final missing piece. Growth doesn't come from doing random workouts forever. It comes from challenging your body a little more than the last time, consistently. That's how effort turns into visible results, and that's when glutes training finally starts to pay off. If you found this video valuable, make sure to give it a like and subscribe for more fitness and health related content specifically for us girls who want to achieve our dream mind, body, soul, and spirit. Stay consistent, stay confident, and I'll see you in the next one.